What's up, beautiful people? It's Sindafam. Welcome to the channel. Today we have Thomas Sowell on why they keep making black people look like losers. Ooh, awesome. I'm excited to check this one out. Let's check it out. Okay.
It is a good reflection on Americans that they tend to be on the side of the underdog. But it is often hard to tell who is in fact the underdog, or why. Many years ago, there was a big, lumbering catcher named Ernie Lombardi, whose slowness of foot was legendary. Someone once said that not only was Ernie Lombardi the slowest man who ever played Major League Baseball, whoever was the second slowest was probably a lot faster runner than Ernie Lombardi. When Ernie Lombardi came to bat, infielders played back on the outfield grass. That gave them more range in getting to balls that Lombardi hit. They could snare line drives that would otherwise be base hits. With ground balls, they could easily throw to first base from the outfield grass and get the slow-moving Lombardi out. Despite all that, Ernie Lombardi had a lifetime batting average of .306 and even led the league in batting a couple of years. But many people said that if Lombardi had had just average speed, he could have been a .400 hitter. One day, as a teenager sitting in the Polo Grounds, the stadium where the then New York Giants played, I was privileged to watch a historic event. Ernie Lombardi laid down a bunt. The crowd went wild. The play took forever, with Lombardi laboriously clumping down to first base, running as hard as he could, but still not very fast, while the third baseman made a long run in from left field to get to the bunt. We cheered ourselves hoarse, rooting for Big Ernie as he doggedly but slowly made his way down the first baseline. He barely beat the throw, which set off another explosion of cheers. We were not just cheering for a hometown player. We were rooting for Lombardi to get revenge on those who had taken advantage of him for so long. We were cheering for the underdog. But was Lombardi really an underdog? How many players end up their careers with a lifetime batting average over .300 or with 2 batting titles? Like most of us, Lombardi was handicapped in some ways and privileged in others. Many people would consider it a handicap to be a black orphan born in the Jim Crow South during the Great Depression of the 1930s. But the home into which I was adopted had 4 adults, and I was the only child. Many years later, when I was a parent and asked one of the surviving members of that family how old I was when I started walking, she said, "Oh, Tommy, nobody knows when you could walk. Somebody was always carrying you." You can't buy that. A leading historian of education has said that the New York City public schools were the best in the country during the 1940s. That was when I went to school there. You can't buy that either. Today, the classes are smaller, the buildings more modern, but the education itself is a disaster. I got the kind of education that people have to go to expensive private schools to get today. Perhaps more important, nobody told me that I couldn't make it because I was poor and black, or that I ought to hate white people today because of what some other white people did to my ancestors in some other time. Nobody sugarcoated the facts of racial discrimination. But Professor Sterling Brown of Harvard University, who wrote with eloquent bitterness about racism, nevertheless said to me when I prepared to transfer to Harvard, "Don't come back here and tell me you didn't make it 'cause white folks were mean." He burned my bridges behind me, the way they used to do with armies going into battle, so that they had no place to retreat to, and so had to fight to win. One of the problems with trying to help underdogs, especially with government programs, is that they and everyone else start to think of them as underdogs, focusing on their problems rather than their opportunities. Thinking of themselves as underdogs can also dissipate their energies in resentment of others, rather than spending that energy making the most of their own possibilities. It must have been discouraging for Ernie Lombardi, especially in his early years, to be repeatedly thrown out at first base on balls that would have been base hits for anybody else. But he couldn't let himself dwell on that, not and win 2 batting titles.
Wow. Wow. I keep saying this that blacks, no matter what you look like, no matter what people may say, it's just you. that knows. It's just you. Believe in yourself. No one can measure up or tell you your strength. I mean, no matter how much people say or do based on statistics and say, oh, this is how an average black man is supposed to live, or this is the measure of how an average black person strength is, or their education system, or their job opportunities. That's on them. I mean, it doesn't mean that you have to fall under that. Society can talk all they want, but at the end of the day, you know yourself. What can you do to improve yourself? Listen, sometimes people always say things to put people down and stuff. You don't gotta listen to them. You just don't gotta listen to them. They are not you. They don't know you better than you know yourself. I keep saying that, especially for the black folks, especially people who complain the schools are not good, the education system, you don't get good education system. You know, one thing us humans is, especially what lots of humans is, we always see a problem rather than see an opportunity out of it. The school doesn't have good education, but the school is free. You're not paying tuition fees, you're not paying school fees. How about you go to the school, you go to learn for free, then engage yourself in other knowledge learnings. You can read ahead, you can learn other useful things that will make you a better person, so that you don't see yourself beyond what the environment looks like or what the environment is giving you. I'm sure that lots of people who grew up from neighborhoods like this or places like this, they are not the exact same way they are. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. Even us as humans, there is no way we would be or remain in the exact same way we were 5 years ago. It doesn't work like that. We evolve, we go through stages, and that's how life is. Another thing is, if you fail at something, it doesn't mean that's the end of the world. It means you at least tried. Pick up a lesson from it. Keep trying again until you win. If you don't win in that lesson, you can try out something else. But make sure whatever you're trying, you give it your best to come out to be the best in it. I, for one, no matter how much life throws stuff to me, I know that us as humans, we feel that sense where when things are not going as the picture we painted, we'll be like, oh, we're not doing our best. But do you know, I've got to shock you and say that at least you gave it a try. You're doing something good. Even though it's not the exact way you wanted it, even though it does not look the exact same way it was supposed to look like you visualized it, but at least you tried. That means you believed in yourself. Even when everyone said you were not good enough, even when everyone told you you're not good at anything, but the fact that you gave a go or gave a try to try something, that means there is still hope. So I've just got to say, especially to the black folks, Stop seeing yourself beyond what you have on your skin. Stop seeing it. I mean, if people look at you and say, oh, this person is not intelligent, this person is doesn't deserve to get good education, but out of that mess, or out of that thing they are trying to create to destroy your image, or to make you look like you're not giving your best, instead of listening to the noise of what people are saying, don't give in. Believe in yourself. Know that what they are saying is just their opinion. It don't matter, because you know yourself, and you know that you are good, you are better. I mean, the person who came out first class doesn't have two heads. The person who is a CEO today, he doesn't have two heads. Is human as you, regardless of what they look like. So don't be afraid to give something a try. If education is something you love, and there is just something I love about America, where people go to school regardless of the age. You see older people going to school just to learn, to get new knowledge, to refresh. I mean, that is something beautiful. That means that person wanted to change something positively in their life that is lacking. That tells a lot about the person. It says a lot. And honestly, be that person. Don't resent yourself for anything. Don't look at it. Don't look at yourself beyond the situation you are in. In that situation, what are you going to do to come out better? That's a food for thought. Forget what society would say, or what society has placed, and say, okay, this is how an average black person or how an average human is supposed to live, is supposed to do, and what the likes and whatever statistics. I don't know where they are generating all of those statistics for, with all that likes. Be different. Make a difference in your life. Make a difference. But yeah, I love videos like this. I always look forward to learning new knowledge, and I would also love to hear your thoughts in the comment down below. You can share other useful information you think might be really helpful, and until next time, see you in the next video.